Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Hello,
SoulSpace podcast number 117. Yay.
welcome.
We're, we're on different screens today, different places, but we're still able to keep our date.
Oh yeah, we always do our podcast.
Yep, yep. So good. So today we're going to keep on with our theme of quantum leaping, and we're going to do few pieces out of The Science of Being Great by Wallace D. Wattles. He is one of our favorite authors. Again, um, we've studied, the science of getting rich extensively. We studied this science of being great in our coaching certification class that we
Mhm.
took, and it's a really cool book, and I love Waddle's the writing. He speaks in old language a lot, but the more you read it, the more it sinks in, and he does little short chapters, just like in Pritchett's book U Squared that we did. So it's an easy book to study in a group, and it's an easy book to just pick up and open it and read a little chapter because they're only a page or two long. So um,
Right.
we thought this would be a good one to do today. And then next week, we'll start our October theme. So we'll have something good.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
One thing that I love about Waddles is every time you read it, you get something new out
right.
of the same passage. And it's really interesting because the way that he writes, like, incites that, where you read it once and
Yeah.
then you read it again and you get new wisdom every time. And
Mhm.
that's one reason that I really like Waddles. And he's just super interesting in the way that he writes. And Old English can be a little tricky sometimes for people, but that's why we're going to bring it forward today is because we can help a little bit with that.
Yeah, yeah. It's the first time through it might sound a little weird, but if you just think about it, and what I've learned is if you read something and it doesn't really sink in, if you just do a couple sentences or a paragraph and let it sit for a while, it kind of sinks in. Or read it twice, and don't try and read the whole book in one sitting. Just do a few pages at a time, and it really sinks in and you'll understand it. It's pretty cool. And in these chapters, he talks about God. So, it's always a higher power, whatever that is for you. You can substitute the word if you use creator or universe or whatever energy. It's all the same thing, really, but to me. But I know,
Source of all that is.
yeah, the source of all that is true, is right. So just do what feels good for you when we're reading, and we'll stop frequently and talk about it. So
We do like to chat.
yeah, yeah, we have found that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll start out and then we'll take turns. So any person may become great. Here is a principle of power. Here is a principle of power in every person. By the intelligent use and direction of this principle, man can develop his own mental faculties. Man has an inherent power by which he may grow in whatsoever direction he pleases, and there does not appear to be any limit to the possibilities of his growth. I like that. Um, there's an infinite number of possibilities that we can take our life and that we can go to make the life that we choose to make. So don't ever think that you're locked into one thing, right?
Hmm.
No man has yet become so great in any faculty, but that it is possible for someone else to become greater. The possibility is in the original substance from which man is made. Genius is omniscient, following into man. Genius is more than talent. Talent may merely be one faculty developed out of the proportion to other faculties, but genius is the union of man and God in the acts of the soul. Great men are always greater than their deeds. They are in connection with a reserve power that is without limit. We do not know where the boundary of the mental powers of man is. We do not even know that there is a boundary. I like that. So, there he's just saying that everything is the power that we can have is infinite. We can do, be, or have anything that we want. And we talk about that all the time.
You.
Yeah, it's so cool. The power of conscious growth is not given to the lower animals. It is man's alone and may be developed and increased by him. The lower animals can, to a great extent, be trained and developed by man, but man can train and develop himself. He alone has the power, and he has to an apparently unlimited extent. The purpose of life for man is growth, just as the purpose of life for trees and plants is growth. Trees and plants grow automatically and along fixed lines. Man can grow as he will. Trees and plants can only develop certain possibilities and characteristics. Man can develop any power which is or has been shown by any person, anywhere. Nothing that is possible in spirit is impossible in flesh and blood. Nothing that man can think is impossible in action. Nothing that man can imagine is impossible of realization. Man is formed for growth, and he is under the necessity of growing. It is essential to his happiness that he should continuously advance. Life without progress becomes unendurable, and the person who ceases from growth must either become imbecile or insane. The greater and more harmonious and well-rounded his growth and happiness man will be. I like that he said that there. We talk about all the time how life is a never-ending journey, and it's so fun to keep learning. You're never too old to learn. And I know that's our motto. We both are
Absolutely.
lifelong learners. And when you get bored with life or feel like you're stuck in a rut, it's the perfect time to learn something new or seek out something that you'd like to learn or you would enjoy doing. So, there never should be boredom in life, really, because there's so many things that we can learn and do and grow.
Right. Most of the people that talk about being dissatisfied with where they're at talk about feeling stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that feeling of being stuck, you're never stuck. You're always moving forward. But are you moving forward with your life? Or are you holding yourself back in
Right.
some way? And getting past that stuck feeling moment is really what helps people to continue that advancement forward, which feels better to them.
Yeah.
Nobody likes feeling stuck. And that's the thing is like, are you growing or not? Are you learning or not? Are you moving forward with your life or holding yourself back for some reason, either consciously or subconsciously?
Yeah.
And that's what he's talking about. It's like when you stop moving and growing with your life,
Mhm.
that's when you stagnate and you feel awful.
Right. Yeah. So true. Okay, there is no possibility in any man that it is not in every man. But if they proceed naturally, no two men will grow into the same thing or be alike. Every man comes into the world with a predisposition to grow along certain lines, and growth is easier for him along those lines than in any other way. This is a wise provision, for it gives endless variety. It is as if a gardener should throw all his bulbs into one basket, so the superficial observer, they would look to the superficial observer, they would look alike, but growth reveals a tremendous difference. So if men and women, so of men and women, they are like the basket of bulbs. Anyone may be a rose and add brightness and color to some dark corner of the world. One may be a lily and teach a lesson of love and purity to every eye that sees. One may be a climbing vine and hide the rugged outlines of some dark rock. One may be a great oak among whose boughs the birds shall nest and sing, and beneath whose shade of flocks shall rest at noon. But everyone will be something worthwhile, something rare, something perfect. I love that too. We're all unique in our own beings, and we all have something to do on this earth. And, so why try and be somebody else? Be yourself and follow your own path. And you're going to be the best that you can be by doing that, right? If by following someone else or trying to be someone else, you're not following your path, and you're making it harder than it should be to do what you want to do, right?
Right. And I like, he talks about how every single one of us is special, unique, needed, and precious.
Yeah.
That each of us is meant to grow in our own way and become our unique selves in
Mhm.
this world, and so in the beautiful perfection that each person comes into this world being,
Yeah.
to continue along that vein, because you're an important part of the universe. You're an important part of the fabric of creation. You're an important part of that garden that as it's growing.
Yeah.
And, you know, as long as what you're doing does no harm to others and brings you joy, that combination will always lead you forward on that path towards what you're here for and the direction that you're intending to grow when you come.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Okay. There are undreamed of possibilities in the common lives of all around us. In a large sense, there are no common people. In times of national stress and peril, the cracker box loafer of the corner store and the village drunkard become heroes and statesmen through the quickening of the principle of power within them. There is a genius in every man and woman waiting to be brought forth. Every village has its great men or women, and someone to whom all go for advice in time of trouble, someone who is instinctively recognized as being great in wisdom and insight. To such a one, the minds of the whole community turn in times of local crisis. He is tactily recognized as being great. He does small things in a great way. He could do great things as well if he did but undertake them. So can any man. So can you. The principle of power gives us just what we ask of it. If only undertake, if we only undertake little things, it only gives us power for little things. But if we try to do great things in a great way, it gives us all the power there is. Be aware and undertake be aware of undertaking great things in a small way, so that we shall speak farther on. There are two mental attitudes a man can take. One makes him like a football. It is resilience and reacts strongly when force is applied to it, but it originates nothing. It never acts of itself. There is no power within it. Men of this type are controlled by circumstances and environment. Their destinies are decided by things external to themselves. The principle of power within them is never really active at all. They never speak or act from within. The other attitude makes men like a flowing spring. Power comes out from the center of him. He has within him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. He radiates force. He is felt by his environment. The principle of power in him is in constant action. He is self-reactive. He hath life in himself. No greater good can come to any man or woman than to become self-active. All the experiences of life are designed by Providence to force men and women into self-activity, to compel them to cease being creatures of circumstance and master their environment. In his lowest stage, man has the child of chance and circumstance and the slave of fear. He acts, his acts are all reactions resulting from the impingement upon him of forces in his environment. He acts only as he is acted upon. He originates nothing. But the lowest savage has within him a principle of power sufficient to master all that he fears. And if he learns this and becomes self-active, he becomes as one of the gods. The awakening of the principle of power in man is the real conversion, the passing from death to life. It is when the dead heart the voice of the Son of Man and come forth and live. It is the resurrection and the life. When it is awakened, man becomes a son of the highest and all power to give to him in heaven and on earth. Nothing has ever in any man that is not in you. No man ever had more spiritual or mental power than you can attain, or did greatest things than you can accomplish, greater things than you can accomplish. You can become what you want to be. I love that. You know, it's part of it, it kind of feels like, sometimes when you have no choice but to do great things, you can step up and do great things. Sometimes when we get to a place where we're so passive and we're not doing the things we need to do to make our life great, um, usually that's when the bottom falls out, or we're stuck in a place where, okay, I got to do something here or I'm never going to get to where I want to be. I'm never going to move forward in what I want to do. So I think that's kind of the gist of what he's saying there. We can do great things, but we have to remember that we can do great things.
Right. And, one of the things he's really talking about here too is um, rather than being someone who allows creation to happen to them and you react to that creation,
Yeah.
to become the creator of your life and the master of your environment.
Yeah.
When he talks about being self-active,
Mhm.
that's being the creator of your existence.
Yeah.
That's creating your existence with the energy of all that is.
Yeah.
Um, that flows through you. And through that
Mm.
combination of you being self-active, you being the creator of your existence
Yeah.
through different means and mastering your environment, that's where the real creation begins. He's talking about not being passive and just allowing things to happen to you. He's talking about being the creator of your existence. And that's something that we talk about a lot, is creating your life
Yeah.
going forward. And so that I love that he talks about that. No one is greater than you are. No one has ever been greater or more smart or has anything else that you don't have as a natural facility.
Yeah.
And that you have the ability to be just as great as any of those people. And for him, the key is to be that self-active, self-directed co-creator of your existence, is what I hear when he's talking in that chapter.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I would
Waddles
too.
is a super interesting person. And, the way that he puts things is really, he has a lot of religious context in
Yeah,
the way that he writes, but that's, his mind and that's the way that he was brought up. And that's for
right.
him how he sees the world. And so I think it's fun to bring in different perspectives.
It absolutely is, yeah. And it,
All right.
even though he speaks kind of religiously, it's all encompassing when you really think about it. It's there's there's always a higher power in the works, or back there helping us. So,
Right.
yeah,
And my favorite thing really is he's talking about each of us as equal and precious creatures. And
right.
each of us has our own role to play. And each of us is important. And each of us is important to be self-active to fully become who we came here to be. And I think that message is a very important message.
Yeah,
And at a time when that message may or may not be well received.
right. Yeah, think back when, this book was published in, where is it? Well,
I
this,
don't even know the first edition of this book
I don't need,
because mine was republished in 2009, but that's
yeah,
not.
that's what mine was too.
I think I think he was a writer in the early 1900s, if I remember correctly.
I think so. Yeah, it's amazing to have the knowledge that he had at the time he did, He's one of the great teachers out there.
He's
So,
a man way ahead of his time.
yeah, yeah,
That's for sure. Him and Napoleon Hill weren't quite contemporaries. I think Wattles was a little bit previous to
yeah.
Hill, but very similar time frames.
I'll,
Okay, we're
I'll,
gonna jump ahead a little bit in this guy to page 21 to a section called identification. All right. So if you have this book, which you may or may not, that's where we're at.
1910 he was first published.
1910. Okay, I knew it was the early 1900s, and I
Yeah,
knew it was before Hill because Hill was published, 20 or 30 years later. But
yeah, yeah. Very cool. Google is your friend sometimes.
thanks, Google. We appreciate you and your AI talents these
Right.
days.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going into identification. Having recognized God as the advancing presence in nature, society, and your fellow men, and harmonized yourself with all these, and having consecrated yourself to that which in you, which impels toward the greatest and highest, the second step is to become aware of and recognize fully the fact that the principle of power within you is God Himself. You must consciously identify yourself with the highest. This is not some false or untrue position to be assumed. It is, in fact, to be recognized. You are already one with God. You want to become consciously aware of it. And in this piece, it says what a lot of everyone says. Gurus say, Abraham says, everyone says, we are all one with the source of all that is.
Yeah.
And the power of that is what flows through us and gives us life.
Yeah.
It's the soul piece of us that is always connected to the source of all that is that people call God, the higher power, the source of all that is, the creator,
Yeah.
the great spirit, etc.
Yeah. I love that that is the piece in all great teachings from all great teachers. It truly is that power within us. It's just,
Universal energy that
and
creates all, including ourselves.
yeah, yeah, so good.
The great consciousness, as it were.
Yeah, so many names for one thing.
Yeah, I could come up with a whole bench. I mean, that would be fun. Let's just make a list one day.
Yeah, that would be good.
There is one substance, the source of all things, and this substance has within itself the power which creates all things. All power is inherent in it. This substance is conscious and thinks. It works with perfect understanding and intelligence. You know that this is so because you know that substance exists and that consciousness exists, and that it must be substance which is conscious. Man is conscious and thinks. Man is substance. He must be substance, else he is nothing and does not exist at all. If man is substance and thinks and is conscious, he is conscious substance. It is not conceivable that there be more than one conscious substance, and that's capitalized. So man is the original substance and the source of all life and power embodied in a physical form. Man cannot be something different from God. Intelligence is one and the same everywhere, and must be everywhere an attribute of the same substance. There cannot be one kind of intelligence in God and another kind of intelligence in man. Intelligence can only be an intelligent substance. An intelligent substance is God. Man is of one stuff with God, and so all the talents, powers, and possibilities that are in God are in man. Not in a few exceptional men, but in every man. All power is given to man in heaven and on earth. It is not written, ye are gods. The principle of power in man is man himself, and man himself is God. But while man is original substance and has within him all power and possibilities, his consciousness is limited. He does not know all there is to know, and so he is liable to error and mistake. To save himself from these, he must unite his mind to that outside him which does know all. He must become consciously one with God. There is a mind surrounding him on every side, closer than breathing, nearer than hands and feet. And in this mind is the memory of all that has ever happened, from the greatest convulsions of nature in prehistoric days to the fall of a sparrow in this present time, and all that is in existence now as well. Held in this mind is the great purpose that is behind all nature, and so it knows what it is going to be. Man is surrounded by a mind which knows all there is to know, past, present, and to come. Everything that men have said or done or written is present there. Man is one of identical stuff with this mind. He proceeded from it, and so he can identify himself with it, that he may know what it knows. My Father is greater than I, said Jesus. I come from him. I and my Father are one. He showeth the Son all things. The Spirit shall guide you into all truth. Your identification of yourself with the infinite must be accomplished by conscious recognition on your part, recognizing it as fact that there is only God and that all intelligence is in one substance. You must affirm somewhat after this wise. There is only one, and that one is everywhere. Surrender myself to conscious unity with the highest. Not I, but the Father. I will not be one with the Supreme, and I am one with will to be one with the Supreme and to lead the divine life. I am one with infinite consciousness. There is but one mind, and I am that mind. I that speak unto you am he. If you have been through in the work as outlined in the preceding chapters, if you have attained to the true viewpoint, and if your consecration is complete, you will not find conscious identification hard to attain. And when it is attained, and once it is attained, the power you seek is yours, for you have made yourself one with all the power there is.
I love that chapter. That is a good one to read over and over, I think. It really shows you your power. And if you let that sink in, especially if you're going through a hard time or things are crazy around you, to just know and remember that you are that you have that power within you, and that you and God are one. It's amazing to have that feeling, right?
Right. And not only that, but it allows you to remember that you can tap in to the
Yeah,
source of all that is. You can tap into your own internal guidance, which
right.
is always connected to the
Yep.
source of all that is, to
Yeah.
find your way along. And we talk about all sorts of ways to do that, to listen and tap into your own guidance. and to follow it to your highest and greatest and most fun and delightful experiences. And one thing I love about this is it talks about the the eternal mind. And people have many words for that. The 0 point field is one that's very common right now, especially when we're talking about mathematics and quantum physics. But
Hmm.
it's also talked about as the Akashic records
Right.
and how to tap into that and that energy of the
Yeah.
conscious mind that has all knowledge and all wisdom and all things that have happened and all things that are going to happen and all things that are possible
Hmm.
within it, and tapping into the energy of that. And it's really interesting that he's talking about that in a time before people started to really bring that forward in a scientific way. They only had, religious scholars talking about it, different religions talking about it. They didn't have anything else to kind of back up that that was a thing. And
Yeah.
now we do. And so I think it's really interesting that he talks about um, that we all have access to that infinite wisdom
Yeah.
that's available to us within that field.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no one outside of you that has access to the knowledge more than you do. We all have that. And and that's good to know. That's, it's something that sometimes they try to keep from you. They don't want the average person to know that, but it's in a lot of books, and it's in a lot of teachers teach this, and they know it from experience. And the average person can know it too, and can have it. It's
Right.
awesome. Yeah.
Right. And one thing that it kind of reminds me of um, is Einstein would talk about how he did his thought experiments
Yeah.
and how he would basically go into a deep meditation and
Yeah.
he would visualize the things that he wanted to know about. He
Right.
would tap in,
Yeah.
and through that tapping in process that he had, that was pretty unique to himself,
Yeah.
but although not that unique, considering how many people do the same thing, but he had his own way of doing it.
Yeah.
He could see how things worked. He could envision what he wanted to know. He could tap into that information
Yeah.
and download it to help himself move forward in whatever he was studying or wanting to know more about.
Right.
And so it's just one example
Uh-huh.
of what that can look like, tapping into that universal mind,
Right.
as it were.
Yeah. Yeah. And the same with Tesla. He did the same kind of thing. Everybody has their own way of tapping into that source energy. And we just have to find that for ourselves. And then we have that knowledge for ourselves too. It can be so easy, but sometimes it sounds complicated, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be hard at all.
No. And anybody can do it, especially if you start out with some of the techniques we talk about.
Yeah.
It gets easier and easier to tap into your own guidance and know what that means for you.
Right.
Um, and we give very easy tools for that,
Right.
which is great because we want everyone to be able to do it. Your own
Yeah.
tapping into your own guidance is leading you on your own unique and special path. And that's exactly what we want for you,
Right.
is to be you,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
the full you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next is idealization. You are a thinking center, an original substance, and the thoughts of original substance have creative power. Whatever is formed in its thought and held as a thought form must come into existence as a visible and so-called material form. And a thought form held in thinking substance is a reality. It is a real thing, whether it has yet become visible to mortal eye or not. This is the fact that you should impress upon your understanding that a thought held in thinking substance is a real thing, a form, and has actual existence, although it is not visible to you. You internally take the form in which you think of yourself, and you surround yourself with the invisible forms of those things with which you associate in your thoughts. So in other words, we talked about this, I think last week, didn't we? About how, if you observe a thing, it is, it's there. And so when, we talk about that with law of attraction, with meditation, with daydreaming, with manifesting, see yourself in that place that you want to be or having those things that you want to have. And by observing those, even if it's just in your mind, you are creating that. So I just love how he says that same thing here, you know?
Yeah, and thoughts have form. We know that.
Right.
Thoughts create reality. And one example is our own bodies.
Yeah.
They have shown that your body reacts physically to the thoughts that you think.
Yeah.
If you think positive thoughts and happy thoughts, your body reacts by boosting its immune system. If you have negative thoughts or thoughts that don't feel good to you, your immune system goes down. And so it's just a very physical way to realize that your thoughts have substance. Your thoughts are creating,
Mm.
whether you're aware of it or not. And so the conscious creation of that through the thoughts and the things that you do want in your life are become paramount, super important.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So if you desire a thing, picture it clearly and hold the picture steadily in mind until it becomes a definite thought form. And if your practices are not such as to separate you from God, the thing you want will come to you in material form. It must do so in obedience to the law by which the universe was created. Make no thought form of yourself in connection with disease or sickness, but form a conception of health. Make a thought form of yourself as strong or hearty and perfectly well. Impress this thought form in creative intelligence. And if your practices are not in violation of the laws by which the physical body is built, your thought form will become manifest in your flesh. This also is certain. It comes by obedience to law. That's a cool one. And, I know you love to study Joe Dispenza's work, and he teaches this in perfect form, you know, and he healed himself by using this, seeing his body healthy and whole and able to walk and do all the things that he wanted to do after he got in a really bad accident and broke his back and thought he was going to have surgery. And, they told him he'd probably never walk again. And now he's walking, and you'd never know that he ever got hurt,
Yeah.
And my husband does this with the meditation, and he'll set his intention. He has chronic pain in his knees and hips, and, he does physical work in his job. And so he has physical pain from that. And when he does his meditation and sets his intention that his pain is gone, it's gone. And it's worked a lot with him to where he doesn't have to take pain meds very often, or aspirin or Aleve or whatever, once in a while he will, but most of the time he doesn't have to take anything for his pain. He can will it away, if you want to call it that. But he actually changes his body by meditating on his pain and talking to it. I have a friend too that has fibromyalgia, and she has started talking to her pain when she gets pain in her body, and she tells it, it's okay. I know that you're there, but you don't have to stay there, and it's worked for her really, really well by getting rid of the pain, by talking to it in her meditation. So our minds can do such amazing things, and it's really cool to hear those stories and to um learn about that and research it. It's been proven many times, so
Oh, yeah.
very cool.
Many times over.
Yeah, yeah. And you've done it too, with,
I've done it too.
yeah.
I
It,
feel my body of several different things that were, you know,
yeah.
suddenly inexplicably not there
Right.
anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So
And I'm
cool.
like, I know exactly how that happened, but I could tell you, but you probably won't believe me. So
Right.
I do have the pictures to prove some of those things. However,
Yeah, yeah. It's awesome. So, so good.
yeah, our bodies and our minds, when they're in harmony, our conscious, our conscious, our subconscious, and our body and spirit, when everything is in harmony with one another, with the goal that we have, that makes a huge difference in the outcome,
It
or
should.
all the difference
Yeah,
in the outcome in a lot of cases.
yeah, yeah. So good.
Get
Okay.
your mind on board. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Put your mind on board as
Use it to its capacity.
yeah, yeah. It's there for a reason.
Yep.
Okay, make a thought form of yourself as you desire to be and set your ideal as near to perfection as your imagination is capable of forming the conception. Let me illustrate. If a young law student wishes to become great, let him picture himself while attending to the viewpoint, consecration, and identification as previously directed. As a great lawyer, pleading his case with matchless eloquence and power before the judge and jury, as having an unlimited command of truth, of knowledge, and of wisdom, let him picture himself as the great lawyer in every possible situation and contingency, while he is still only the student in all circumstances. Let him never forget or fail to be the great lawyer in his thought form of himself. As the thought form grows more definite and habitual in his mind, the creative energies, both within and without, are set at work. He begins to manifest the form from within and all the essentials without, which go into the picture, begin to be impelled toward him. He makes himself into the image, and God works with him. Nothing can prevent him from becoming what he wishes to be. In the same general way, the musical student pictures himself as performing perfect harmonies and as delighting vast audiences. The actor forms the highest conception he is capable of in regard to his art and applies this conception to himself. The farmer and the mechanic do exactly the same thing. Fix upon your ideal of what you wish to make of yourself. Considered well and be sure that you make the right choice. That is, the one which will be the most satisfactory to you in a general way. Do not pay too much attention to the advice or suggestions of those around you. Do not believe that anyone can know better than yourself what is right for you. Listen to what others have to say, but always form your own conclusions. Do not let other people decide what you are to be. Be what you feel that you want to be. Do not be misled by false notion of obligation or duty. You can owe no possible obligation or duty to others which should prevent you from making the most of yourself. Be true to yourself. You cannot then be false on any man. When you have fully decided what thing you want to be, form the highest conception of that thing that you are capable of imagining and make that conception a thought form. Hold that thought form as a fact, as the real truth about yourself, and believe in it. Close your ears to all adverse suggestions. Never mind if people call you a fool and a dreamer. Dream on. Remember that Bonaparte had half-starved lieutenant. The half-starved lieutenant always had himself as the general of armies and the master of France. And he became in outward realization what he held himself to be in mind. So likewise will you. Attend carefully to all that has been said in the preceding chapters and act as directed in the following ones, and you will become what you want to be. So good.
My favorite part of this chapter is when he says, don't let others convince you that your dream is wrong or impossible or not right for you.
Right. Yeah.
Because if and one thing that Abraham says too is keep your dreams to yourself for a while
Yeah.
until you begin to realize them, because other people will try to convince you otherwise
Yeah.
and try to convince you in opposition to what it is that you're wanting for your life. They'll try to convince you to settle for less.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I have found to be extremely true is if I want something, the only option that I allow in my mind is that that thing happens and it happens the way that I want. And that's the only option. There's
Yeah.
no plan B. There's no plan 56 million that other people have. My plan, what I want to see. And that's the way that I have created my most significant and sometimes I would call miraculous
Right.
changes, especially when it came to my own healing.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that I will accept, and I will continue on the path of my guidance until I get there.
Yeah.
And that's what's worked the best for me. And that's what he's talking about is hold your dream in your mind as your reality.
Yeah.
See it, feel it, experience it, and know that the universe is lining up to
Hmm.
assist you along your way. Then follow your guidance and act upon it. And that's really what he's talking about. And don't let others convince you otherwise.
Yeah.
Don't let them convince you that you deserve something other than what you want most in your heart of hearts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's the most important thing you can do, I think, is to believe in yourself and believe and know that you can do whatever you want to do or, have and do whatever you want. And that's a huge thing that I am really grateful for my parents for. When, growing up, we were never told, oh, you have to go to school for this. You have to be this when you grow up. They didn't try and persuade any of me or my siblings in what to do, what we wanted to do as a job or whatever when we grew up or what we wanted to go to college for. And I appreciated that so much because I saw friends of mine go to school for what their parents wanted them to go to school for. And then they were miserable in their job when and they maybe quit and did what they really wanted to do later on in life when they could have done that to begin with and been
Right.
happy a lot faster. But we don't know what we don't know and until we know it. So, yeah.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. The last section we're going to read today is realization. How perfect.
Yeah.
If you were to stop with the close of the last chapter, however, you would never become great. You would be indeed a mere dreamer of dreams, a castle builder. Too many stop there. They do not understand the necessity for present action in realizing the vision and bringing the thought form into manifestation. Two things are necessary. First, the making of the thought form, and second, the actual appropriation to yourself, all that goes into and around the thought form. We have discussed the first. Now we will proceed to give directions for the second. When you have made your thought form, you are already in your interior what you want to be. Next, you must become externally what you want to be. You are already great within, but you are not yet doing the great things without. You cannot begin on the instant to do the great things. You cannot be before the world the great actor or lawyer or musician or personality you know yourself to be. No one will entrust great things to you as yet, for you have not made yourself known. But you can always begin to do small things in a great way. Here lies the whole secret. You can begin to do, you can begin to be great today in your own home, in your store or office, on the street, everywhere. You can begin to make yourself known as great, and you can do this by doing everything you do in a great way. You must put the whole power of your great soul into every act, however small and commonplace, and so reveal to your family, your friends, and neighbors what you really are. Do not brag or boast of yourself. Do not go about telling people what a great personage you are. Simply live in a great way. No one will believe you if you tell him you are a great man, but no one can doubt your greatness if you show it in your actions. In your domestic circle, be so just, so generous, so courteous, and kindly that your family, your wife, husband, children, brothers, and sisters shall know that you are a great and noble soul. In all your relations with men, be great, just, generous, courteous, and kindly. The great are never otherwise. This for your attitude. I think this is a really important piece, is to
Mhm.
become the reality of what you're creating, to become that person
Yeah,
that already is all of those things and qualities that you know are necessary for you to bring your dream into fruition. And he said, just start with your life as it is.
yeah, yep. Do
Start
whatever
there.
you are doing in a great way, and that's getting you there. You know, if we start now doing the things that we know we can do to the best of our abilities, we're on our way to being what we want to be.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. You know, be that love every single day. Be that strong person every single day. Be, like you said, kind and courteous and generous.
yeah.
Be strong. Be, you know, like you said, give 110% to everything that you do. Show people that you care. And
Mm,
then that begins to build that trust and that knowing within, other people that, you know what, this person is amazing.
yeah,
And I can't wait to see what other amazing things they'll do. And as you begin to do those amazing things that you've dreamed about, that you've created already through your thought forms, people will go, yeah, that's what I expected.
yeah,
Yeah. And they'll support you and go, yes, I love to see you succeed. Let me see how I can help you too. And you'll get unexpected and delightful things from people that you may or may not even know
yeah,
because of what they've heard about you, because they intrinsically trust you, because you are living as the person already that you have seen yourself be, that great person you've already seen within your own mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Creating by doing,
Yeah,
inspired action, as one might say.
right. Where have we heard that before?
I don't know, a few places.
Yeah,
Next, next, and most important, you must have absolute faith in your own perceptions of truth. Never act in haste or hurry. Be deliberate in everything. Wait until you feel that you know the true way. Feeling it out. Where have we heard that before, Tracy?
yeah. On
Maybe on this
every
podcast.
everyone we've ever done. Right.
And when you do feel that you know the true way, be guided by your own faith, though all the world shall disagree with you. If you do not believe what God tells you in little things, you will never draw upon his wisdom and knowledge in larger things. When you feel deeply that a certain act is the right act, do it and have perfect faith that the consequences will be good. When you are deeply impressed that a certain thing is true, no matter what the appearances to the contrary may be, accept that thing as true and act accordingly. The one way to develop a perception of truth in large things is to trust absolutely to your present perception of truth in small things. Remember that you are seeking to develop this very power or faculty, the perception of truth. You are learning to read the thoughts of God. Nothing is great and nothing is small in the sight of omnipotence. He holds the sun in its place. but he also notes a sparrow's fall, and the numbers the hairs of your head. God is as much interested in the little matters of everyday life as he is in the affairs of nations. You can perceive truth about family and neighborhood affairs, as well about matters of statecraft. And the way to begin is to have perfect faith in the truth in all these small matters, as it is revealed to you from day to day. When you feel deeply impelled to take a course which seems contrary to all reason and worldly judgment, take that course. Listen to the suggestions and advice of others, but always do what you feel deeply in the within to be the true thing to do. Rely with absolute faith at all times on your own perception of truth, but be sure that you listen to God, that you do not act in haste, fear, or anxiety. Rely upon your perception of truth in all facts and circumstances of life. If you deeply feel that a certain man will be in a certain place on a certain day, go there with perfect faith to meet him. He will be there, no matter how unlikely it may seem. If you feel sure that certain people are making certain combinations or doing certain things, act on the faith that they are doing those things. If you feel sure of the truth of any circumstance or happening, near or distant, past, present, or to come, trust in your perception. You may make occasional mistakes at first because of your imperfect understanding of the within, but you will soon be guided almost invariably right. Soon your family and friends will begin to defer more and more to your judgment and to be guided by you. Soon your neighbors and townsmen will be coming to you for counsel and advice. Soon you will be recognized as one who is great in small things, and you will be called upon more and more to take charge of larger things. All that is necessary is to be guided absolutely in all things by your inner light, your perception of truth. Obey your soul. Have perfect faith in yourself. Never think of yourself with doubt or distrust, or as one who makes mistakes. If I judge, my judgment is just, for I seek not honor from men, but from the Father only.
Mm. So, so good. I just love it.
Yeah, I really like how he talks about relying on your own wisdom and not everybody else's.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry, I had a moment there.
that's okay. I know how you feel exactly.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
but I really like, he really talks about tapping into your inner guidance and
yeah,
using that as your guide to action
right.
and using that to know my truth is my truth, even if everybody else's may be something different. And
Yeah,
paying attention to what that means for yourself and helping that to guide you along that path of the highest and greatest for yourself and not worrying about what everybody else may think or be doing that's contrary to that.
yeah, yeah. Um, you just have to go for what you want, you know. It- Keep that at the front of your mind all the time, what your goal is, or what you want to become, or what you want to create, whatever that is. Even if you don't call it a goal, you know, the way you want to feel, the way you want to be, keep thinking about that, keep seeing yourself in that and doing that thing. And it God's going to bring you ways to do it. It's fact.
It's the law of attraction, perhaps. When he
Perhaps,
talks about the universal law, the law of which the universe works, the
right?
law of attraction is one of the largest, most powerful laws of our known universe.
Yeah.
And so by doing and creating in your mind and acting as if that
Mhm.
by law of attraction brings those things to you that match that vibration you're putting out of being that great, amazing person that's accomplishing these things that you only dreamed were possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hence your dreams become reality. And that's really what they're talking about. Thoughts have form, thoughts create. And so as you act as if, that brings by law of attraction to the things to you to create that dream and begin to make it and manifest into reality.
Hmm. Yeah. So, so good. So get this book.
It's a really good book.
It's a
It's
good.
a really good book. We haven't read this one in a while,
Yeah.
but The Science of Being Great is wonderful. I also have in front of me, uh, oh, it's blue, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. They're both amazing books,
Yeah.
chock full of information. Both of them are written very similarly with small chapters.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is, when you create the life that you want, a lot of us desire abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And rightfully so, because as we create abundance in our own lives, we have more to give to others, more to show to others, and we have more available to us. And that means there's more available to everyone. As we lift ourselves up, we lift others up with us. And how fun is it that we can do that? Because that's most people's desire is I want to do this for my family. The money isn't the thing. Money is a byproduct.
Right. Yeah.
Money is wonderful because money is just a neutral energy that allows us to do many, many great and wonderful things that we want to do and to be and to have. And
Yeah.
so money is a byproduct of your own internal work and following your own guidance. Money is part of abundance.
Yeah.
It's not the end all be all,
Right.
but it is a wonderful thing to have. And I think a lot of people, that mindset, once they begin to have that shift, is money is just an energy and it's a byproduct of my own internal abundance, my own wonderful things that are happening in my life, and it allows me to share more with others.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. It really allows you to be able to help more people and create more things in helping other people in their lives. And by you doing that, it's showing other people that they can do it too. You know, we don't we don't want to help in a way that's gonna deter someone. We want to help them in a way that's gonna lift them up. So and money allows us to do that and to have more fun and to it boosts everything around you by doing.
One thing I like to remind people of, because money always comes into this equation when we're talking about
Yeah.
creating the life that we want.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the current way that our world works, it is an important factor.
Right.
And one thing I always like to tell people is remember that money is just really something that exacerbates who you already are.
Mm-hmm.
It creates you bigger. It
Yeah.
allows you to be more of who you are. So whoever you are, whoever you strive to be, whoever you were creating yourself to be in your mind, it will amplify that like a crystal does. It will amplify that energy and help you become more of who you already are and who you want to become. And so just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
If you're a person that loves and is generous and kind, like he talks about, money creates more of that. It creates you squared, you bigger,
Right.
right? And that's
Yeah.
what money is. It's an expanding energy. It's an abundant energy. And so more of who you are will come out as you have more and more abundance, more and more money, more and more available to you. And so just keep that in mind. And as you become more abundant, think to yourself, who do I want to be? Who do I want to create myself to be in this more abundant universe that I'm creating for myself? And that will help to lead you in a very positive direction. So just food for thought.
It will. Awesome food. Awesome food for thought. All right. So, Carissa, where can we find you on this wonderful internet world or
Well,
in-person world?
yeah. Well, obviously, right now, you can find us on YouTube
Yeah.
at SoulSpace Podcast, because that's where we're posting this next.
Yeah.
Um, You can find me on Facebook at Light of Hope Healing. That's probably the easiest way. I also have a Square site, which is light-of-hope-healing.square.site. Light of Hope Healing with a bunch of dashes in between it, .square.site, which is also on my Facebook page, so just go there.
There's a link
Uh,
there.
there's a link there. It's probably easiest to find me there. You'll be able to find me in November at a couple of expos, which I'm really excited about.
Awesome.
the first week of November, I'll be in Fargo at the Souls of Spirit Expo at the Ramada Inn on 13th Avenue South. And we have an expo twice a year there, always with Lori, who runs those, who is a wonderful human. And then I also be in Bismarck in November. If I could only remember the exact date. Boop, boop, boop. I'm going to pull up my calendar because I can't remember. Um, I'm still in October. Oh, yes. So uh, November 22nd is when I'm in Bismarck for
Awesome.
that expo as well. And at those, I'll be offering my angel and spirit guide readings, which are always wonderful and provide such a wonderful and beautiful day for all of us, as well as having tons of things for people to purchase as well, such as like my angel stones. I'll have my prosperity pouches, which I haven't offered in person yet, so I'm excited for that.
Mhm.
I'll have sign up for one of my new on-demand courses and tons of really beautiful handmade jewelry that my mom, my sister, and I all have created together, as well as some vintage pieces I've found, which are really pretty that I
So
don't want to see go, but I know need to go to the right home. So,
awesome. That's
well,
exciting.
Tracy, oh, you have something that you just did last week, right?
Yeah, last weekend I did a Junkin Market Days. I had a booth with my art stuff and chalk couture stuff. That was fun. People made their own Snoopy sign and for Halloween. And I had a lot of seasonal stuff there. I had a good weekend. It was really fun, met some new people and had a blast. Yeah.
Awesome.
And
So, where can people find you if they want to see what you're up to next?
I have a website, inspiredsignals.com. All my links are there. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Inspired Signals and at Signals Studio. Ugh, tongue twister today. Um, but both of those, my artsy stuff is at the studio page, and my other stuff is on Inspired Signals. I have some Reiki classes scheduled. I just put my schedule out today on my Inspired Signals page on Facebook. I need to do it on Instagram. I haven't done that yet, but I will. So there's classes October, November, December, and January scheduled for Reiki. So I'm excited about that. And I will have some new artistic alchemy classes coming up.
Oh, can't
Ooh,
wait.
yeah, I haven't scheduled the dates yet, but I will get that done this week. So by next week, I'll have some dates for those. All at our office, our beautiful SoulSpace office in West Fargo.
Can't wait. Those are my some of my favorite classes you ever created, and I just can't wait to see the next ones.
I know, I love them. They're so fun. So that's it for us in a nutshell for this week. We'll see you again next week. Same place, probably not the same time, but whenever
Same
we
place,
get it
same
posted.
day.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.